So, the last week of October, I finished the last book, and now I'm on my last book for my TPR in October, Stephen King's The Mist. Surprisingly, I never saw the movie, I never read the book. Obviously, the ending is very famous, so I have heard the ending of the movie, but I'm scheduled to finish on Friday, and I'm really enjoying this book so far. I'm a huge Stephen King fan, so that does not surprise me at all. So it was a good palate cleanser after the Hexus, which if you haven't checked out my review of, please do. You'll understand why I needed a palate cleanser. But I'm right here, more than like kind of half of the book right now, and I have to read 28 pages between now, which is Wednesday, and my last 28 pages on Friday, and then I'll do my final review on this book. But I'm so freaking happy that I stuck to my guns and I finished my TPR. I know people have crazy TPRs. My daughter has a booktube, Morgan's Library, check it out, and she has like 20 books in a month. I used to be like that, an avid reader. When I had my full vision, I was young. I was able to read multiple books at once. Now, with my disability, I'm not able to do that as much. But I actually stopped reading altogether when I was newly diagnosed years ago. But I got back to reading. Slow and steady does the pace. And I'm enjoying Stephen King. I'm so happy that I decided to end October with a book from him. Speaking of Stephen King, if you have HBO Max, you may want to decide to get it just for the series. But Welcome to Derry, please let me know if you watched that series. I'm already hooked. The first episode, please let me know if you want me to do a review, and I'll definitely do that for you guys. I watched a couple of scary movies and series, so yeah, I would love to talk about what I watched this October. If you guys are interested, just give me a comment below and let me know. Alrighty. I'm wearing a magnifier, so I want to read a little bit of this to you. Prepare to meet blank, Myron LaFleur said in a drunken snarl from the beer cooler. Oh, woman, I believe your tongue must be hung in the middle so it can run on both ends. There was a rumble of aggrievement. Billy looked around nervously and slipped an arm around his shoulders. I'll have my say, she cried. Her upper lip curled back, revealing snaggled teeth that were yellow with nicotine. I thought of the dusty stuffed animals in her shop, drinking eternally at the mirror that served as their creek. Doubters were doubt to the end, yet a monstrosity did drag that poor boy away. Things in the mist, every abomination of a bad dream, eyeless freaks, pallid horrors. Do you doubt? Then go on out and say howdy-do. Miss Carmody, you have to stop, I said. You're scaring my boy. The man with the little girl echoed the settlement. She, all plump legs and scabby knees, had hidden her face against her father's stomach and put her hands over her ears. Big Bill wasn't crying, but he was close. finished this book on October 31st, and I'm doing the review the next day. So I met my goal and read all the books I wanted to in October. So yay, I'm proud of myself. This book, I'm going to get 3 out of 5. I did enjoy it. I'm glad that I chose this as my last book and was able to have it as a palate cleanser from the previous book, The Hexes, which I did not like that much. So it's a short story from Stephen King. Quick synopsis. A storm hits a small town, destroys it a little bit. A father and son goes into town to the grocery store. They get stuck because of the the mist. I really enjoyed this book because, one, this is the first book out of many that I read in October that actually has characters' names. So the main characters, the son Billy is about 5 years old, 5 or 6, and his dad David. They're the main characters in the storyline. They have their neighbor, and then they have a couple of people in the grocery store. The main characters in the mist, there's a lot of monsters, atrocities that just massacre people. And the mist is very, very thick and unnatural. So they stay in the grocery store. And unfortunately, his wife, who's also in the beginning of the story, does not go. So he already knows that what they experience, she's gone. Okay, the damage they had during the storm before the mist came down, their picture window in their living room broke. So whatever was in the mist, because it was on the lake water and she was about to garden as they went to the store, got in the house and got her. So he knew that. He knew she was dead. So in the grocery store, it's basically just about survival. It's just showing humankind basically what people do in desperation. There is one character called Miss Carmody, and she is a doom and gloom naysayer. She basically kind of gets off on this mist situation. There were several fatalities, giant spiders, tentacles, basically think 10 leagues under the sea type of monsters, right? But David feels that they only are attracted by the scent of humans. If so, they don't smell them. If they don't smell you, they don't come for you. But they do take a lot of people on the way. There's people, his neighbor that went to the store with him, I think his name is Brent, was a naysayer. They called them flat earthers, which I thought was hilariously funny, because they know it's the truth, but they just basically deny the fact. Went out, get massacred. They did try David. There's another guy named Ollie who is a even head, like, focused guy that David trusts. They go to the next door pharmacy and they realize, because the AC was gone because the storm previous to the mist knocked out all the power, they kept the pharmacy door open for ventilation. Ah, big mistake. When the mist came, the monsters came in and basically massacred the whole entire population that was in the pharmacy. And that's why nobody from the pharmacy came over to the grocery store where they were to get food, because they weren't there. And the monster there in the pharmacy was giant spiders. So I think maybe 7 people went over there to check out the pharmacy, and only David and Ollie and Miss Ripper came back. So out of 7 people, only 3 came back. And that's Miss Carmody, the woman that is kind of building a fever of like a cultish mindset. Kind of shows how humanity, in the beginning, they were telling her to shut up because she was just talking nonsense, they felt. But the more desperate that they became, the more of these people started listening to her, and she started screaming, in order to appease the mist, we must have a blood sacrifice. And she actually chose Billy, the little boy, to be the sacrifice, and this woman named Amanda that David, which I thought was weird. That's the one part of the story I did not like. He was attracted to Amanda because he felt she was beautiful, and they fucked. Knowing his wife is somewhere out there, he did. Yeah, that was kind of disjointed. I was like, wait a minute. Your wife is by herself. She may be alive, but yeah, you're boning someone. Okay, again, people process desperation very differently, and I guess it's the way he processed it. But anyway, so she wants to sacrifice Billy, his son, and Amanda, the woman he just boned. And somehow she knows that they did this indiscretion. And people are just like shouting and going to this fever pitch, and she has men at her side, and they can easily overpower the group that still have common sense. But there's only one gun, and Ollie has it, and he finally shoots the old hag and shuts her up. And that quickly dissipates the fervor that was going on in a group of the cult-like, mob-like sense they were going at. So at the end, they decided we can't stay in this grocery store. It is what it is. I think they only smell their prey. And if we get in my car real quick and close the doors, they won't smell us. They won't get to us. Unfortunately, as they're running out, Ollie freaking dies. He gets caught by like a huge claw and like cut in half. The only people that survive is David, the main character, his son Billy, and Amanda and Miss Ripper. They go in the car. The mist is everywhere. The mist is not letting up. They're stuck in the mist, and they're seeing creatures everywhere. Creatures that are so big that they can't even see. They only see the legs going all the way up in the sky, right? And he comes to the realization that maybe the mist is everywhere. Maybe whatever, because at the beginning of the story they were talking about there's a army base or Air Force base doing experiments, and maybe they tore a rip into the universe, and now they're in an alternate parallel universe with all these atrocities, and there's no way of escaping it. They turn on the radio, and radios where they should be able to pick up the signals from bigger cities nearby, like Boston and so forth, are dead. So it doesn't end like the movie. They just keep driving, hoping for hope that they get to see the sun again, because in the mist, the sun just looks like they're on Venus, like a silver coin in the sky. And that really resonated with me. So I love the pacing of the book. It's really fast paced. I quickly got into the story, and I was able to imagine the world. I love when books do that for me. That makes it so much easier to read. The thing that I used to read this book was a magnifier. So I just took how many pages in total this book had, divided it by a week, 7 days, and because of that, I had 28 pages a day to read to finish it within a week. So I'm going to continue that same philosophy for every book that I read. I do want to try to continue to read a book a week, even in November. So I'm going to choose my books for November and show you in the next video my November TBR. But I really enjoyed this, really fast paced, really intriguing, love the storyline, love the characters. Stephen King, a younger Stephen King, this is one of his earliest books. I enjoyed it. I didn't give it a 5 because I just didn't feel it was a 5, but it was middle even Steven for me. So if you want an easy read, definitely pick up The Mist.